Hi Beatle people, welcome back to A Beautiful Life. So today's video is going to be my thoughts on the new Beatles 64 documentary that of course just came out on Disney+. So I'm just going to jump right into it and let's get started. So I definitely was looking forward to seeing this because, as I've said so many times on this channel, I love the 1964 period of the Beatles, and I've obviously seen the original first US visit documentary a lot of times, so I was looking forward to the new footage from those filmmakers being included in this. So I'm just going to go through like some highlights that I wrote down as I was watching it, and then just summarize some thoughts at the end. So the first thing I noticed that stood out to me, and I said I have to mention this in my video, was at the beginning when the man was talking about hearing "She Loves You" for the first time, and how he immediately, when he was talking about it, he immediately got emotional and he couldn't even, finish a sentence. I found that very relatable right away. I looked at the TV and I said, exactly. And so I really liked to hear his perspective about what it was like to hear the Beatles for the first time. And a little bit later on, Paul is in the Brooklyn Museum, and that was cool to see because, as you may have seen on my channel, I visited his photo exhibit at the Brooklyn Museum last June. So if you want to see the vlog of that, I posted it on his birthday if you haven't seen that yet. But it was really cool to see him walking around the exhibit and looking at all the, standing in the same places I was and looking at the same things. And while he was there, he told the story of when he played his dad "She Loves You" for the first time. And of course, he wanted them to say yes, yes, yes instead of yeah, yeah, yeah. And I have heard that story before, but I still think it's funny. And I always think, I've heard the story lots of times, and so have lots of other people, but it is probably at least somebody's first time ever hearing that story who watched this documentary. And that's the case for, like, when I see Paul in concert too, he tells some of the same stories that I've heard, lots of times now, but I still enjoy hearing them, and it's, again, always someone's first time hearing that story. And something funny I wrote down was when the news reporter said that measles and Beatlemania have the same symptoms and they produce contortions in people. And one of the newspaper headlines called it Beatleitis, not Beatlemania. And something else that was good was to hear the perspectives of people like me who can relate to the screaming girls during Beatlemania and hear their viewpoint and their experiences from like the crush perspective of things, because from probably the ages of 13 through 17 I did have a huge crush on Paul. That was like everything to me. So that was really nice to hear those kinds of perspectives that we don't often hear. And someone who appeared in an interview with Smokey Robinson, and he said as well that he appreciates the emotion of the fangirls, if you will. And I also really love the cover that they included in there that he was singing of Yesterday. I thought that was really nice. And this is just a very small detail, but when they showed the portion of the first US visit when they were listening to that, I guess, radio DJ who was talking about how they were going to read their own poetry, and they cut out the part where Paul said, "We ain't written no poetry." I love that part, and they cut it out, but it's in the regular first US visit documentary. And something else I liked was when they showed the Ed Sullivan Show part, and they showed a real family's reaction as they were watching that on TV, and that was really nice, especially to see like the younger family members how they were reacting. And my mom actually remembers seeing them, well, not live, but watching it on TV of the Ed Sullivan Show. I think she was 4 years old at that time. I certainly wish I could have seen it, but I was very much not alive yet. And I liked, I don't remember who it was, but someone said that they felt they could relax because the Beatles existed, and that how they presented like more emotion and kind of a softer side as opposed to really macho masculinity, and I appreciate that. And as I said, I liked seeing the perspectives of the type of fan that I would relate to, because I most certainly would have been one of those screaming girls if I was there. And I scream at Paul concerts and Ringo concerts, of course. Actually, I want to put in the clip of when I saw Paul arriving at the stadium last time I saw him in concert, because that is like a Beatlemania in 2020, well, not 2024, a Beatlemania in 2022 moment, because it was about 2 years ago now. Something else I really enjoyed was the Washington Coliseum concert. The new like remastered footage both looked and sounded really great. I loved especially the Long Tall Sally performance. Paul sounded amazing, and I loved Ringo's drumming. He was really rocking and rolling. I really liked that. And there were a lot of other things I could relate to as far as the fangirls, if you will, saying like that they had their rooms full of Beatle pictures. Another very relatable part was it was towards the end, the woman who said she is not able to listen to the Beatles in a casual way, and even if she hears them in the grocery store, she can't think or do anything. She just has to like sit in that moment as the song is playing. And I found that pretty, I mean, not as intensely as her because I wasn't around for the 1964 Beatlemania, but I do relate to that somewhat because there has to be like a specific setting for me to listen to the Beatles. Like I can't, for instance, I wouldn't listen to them at work where I'm not able to sing or dance or, you know, bop around to the music. It has to be the right setting because it is very like intensely emotional at times. And you could see if you watch the video I just put up on Friday, you could see like how much energy I get from the Beatles. You saw me dancing around in that video. And another funny part, of course, was when Paul was talking about how the Beatles were sometimes looked down upon by posh people. And he said a very funny line.
But you know what? We didn't give a flying fuck.
I actually accidentally spoiled that for myself because I saw it on someone's Instagram story before I watched the documentary, but it was so funny. And it was also very nice to see the moments that we hadn't seen before from the first US visit filmmakers. And I do wish there was more of that, but I don't know how much actually exists aside from everything that we've already seen. I don't know how much more there is, but if there is more, I would hope that at some point we could see it. Another small thing that stood out was when Ringo was talking about how they were flying into New York and he felt an octopus pulling the plane down. I thought that was funny. Every time I see anything octopus in the store, I jokingly say, "Oh, I'll get that from Ringo. I'm gonna buy that for Ringo," because I always like daydream like if I saw him in concert, I would be in the front row and would hand him like an octopus gift. Someone actually recently gave Paul a stuffed animal version of Martha, his dog. So yes, overall, I did enjoy the documentary. I do wish there was more new footage from the first US visit, but again, I don't know how much actually exists besides what we already saw. I really liked the new clips of Paul and Ringo and the perspectives of everyone who was there, from fans to musicians, and definitely enjoyed this as someone who loves that 1964 period of the Beatles to begin with. So we'll see if this ends up coming out on DVD. Is there enough new stuff to make me want to buy it on DVD? I'm not sure. Like, since I already have the first US visit, I already have 8 Days a Week, the touring years, etc. But we'll see. I guess that will depend on if the DVD has bonus features and if maybe some new footage is in there as well. But we'll see if it even comes out on DVD at all. I had to change where I'm standing because the sun is moving, but that is going to summarize my thoughts and going to do it for today's video. So I do want to say thank you very much for watching, and as always, I will link my social media below if you'd like to follow me on there as well. So again, thank you for watching, and as always, have a beautiful day, everybody. Bye-bye.